Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to this episode of Olivia's Corner. This week we are doing another Get Ready With Me. If you're not familiar, my name's Olivia and I talk about Dungeons & Dragons, talk about my experience as a dungeon master, tell stories, educate people on D&D things and other things like what I'm learning in school. If any and all of that sounds interesting to you, make sure that you are subscribed, hit that button, so that you get notified when I put new content out. Welcome aboard. The content or topic for today's Get Ready With Me is the continent of Zycia. If you've heard me talk about Dungeons & Dragons in the world that I'm building, I usually talk about Velsar, which is another continent, and this continent is called Zycia. So a little bit of a history lesson on Zycia. Zycia is considered the crucible of creation. Most people in the world have some sort of creation myth where people started, and it's in Zycia for most people. So it's an ancient continent, and it's also the furthest developed continent of all of them. If you're someone who understands a lot more D&D stuff, it's similar to the world of Eberron, and for those of you that are not familiar with D&D, it's a lot more like steampunk, and they have like magical airships that fly through the air between continents and whatnot. So yeah, basically, probably 2 years ago, I drew a map of Zycia, and it was the same thing that you've seen me do before, where I just get a whole bunch of dice and drop them across a piece of paper and start deciding what's what based on my generator that I've got. So it says Continent 3 at the top, and Capital as a big blocky chunk in the middle somewhere. And there are several little stars, which I believe were supposed to be cities? I'm not sure? Maybe? Or questable? And then it has things like towns and farms, medium, underwater cave, plains and fields, sketchy, cursed forest, unlucky forest, good witch. There's a good witch in the unlucky forest, that's fun. So I am very thankful to past me, but the other thing is that I've been working on this continent without remembering that I had the map, because one of my players recently switched to a new character, and this new character decided to be from Zycia originally. When we were talking about his backstory, I was like, huh, shit. I have the names of some cities, but I have no idea who's there, who runs them, how they work, where they are. So today we're gonna do some of that. Now, some of the work that I did on my Google Doc for the Zycian continent was to name things and to do like this family runs the place. Did I finish the history lesson on Zycia? So those of you that have seen The Hunger Games, it's kind of like the capital. These are, at least in the major and rich cities, and especially in the capital of this city, it is like a less technologically advanced. They don't have the same technology, but they have like medieval steampunk capital. So it's a lot of people who are dripping in diamonds and like don't see poor people as human beings, or, you know, it's D&D, so there are lots of races. So like I wrote that there are like gladiatorial combat rings where they just drag people off the streets, and if you can't pay to get out of it or have someone to bail you out, you get put into a fight to the death for the entertainment of the wealthy. Yeah. It's pretty shitty. And like, there are probably not going to be like any like big bads taking over if we ever go here. It's just going to be that there are shitty people everywhere they go. So I intend that if I run a second campaign in this world ever, it'll be run in Zycia, which is part of why I would like to do a lot of the work for this. Then I know what launching pad I'm jumping off of in creating the next series of story pieces. One thing I basically never do is name my lakes. There's like 3 lakes in here, at least, and some rivers. I should probably name these rivers as well. That'd be a good place to, maybe not start, but a good thing to get done. Let's get started. For the 4th time. Okay, so let's start with the capital. It's called Zycia Major. because it's the continent of Zycia, and they're cocky. Oh, I should show you a before and after. That was your look at before. And I guess when we're done, you'll get a little bit of an after. Okay, so then the next, like, the major cities that are past Zycia Major, that are like big but not the capital, are part of the rest of the continent, which is referred to as Zycia Minor. So some of the major cities are Archimeyer, Newstrom, Nettingsvale. Gosh, I have so many pages on Nettingsvale. And Zyrinium. So Archimeyer, which I'm putting onto the map now, maybe, has a population of 48,000 people. And it's run by Lord Bashford. His full name is Newt Jarvel Bathford, wow. Newt Jarvel Bashford. I wrote him as very dark and spooky, but he's actually pretty nice and odd. He's just like odd and whimsical when you meet him. Kind of like inspired by Willy Wonka, played by Johnny Depp. You don't have to think it was a good movie to know that it was quirky. Newstrom is one of the other major cities, population 62,000 people, run by Lord and Lady Ponkhurst. More specifically, Lord Reuben Clements Ponkhurst and Lady Verteline Euphoria Ponkhurst. I'm very proud of my names. The city's going to be kind of coastal. I think there's going to be some kind of minor cities along the coast with them, maybe aligned with them. They all have sort of protection from Newstrom. Like, I mean, protection by Newstrom. No! Oh, the stars are supposed to be questable. Good to know. So Nettingsvale's the next one. 36,000 people. Run by Lady Agralia Rosalind Lurliocht. This one specifically has a plus next to the population on my notes because it is still a growing major city. She's got 2 siblings. Do you want to know their names? Lord Camtherin Pongush Lurliocht and Lady Julienne Chrysanthemum Lurliocht. That's all we care about in Nettingsvale, so let's go on to Zyrinium. Zyrinium has a population of 30,000 people, and it is run by Lord and Lady Veniper. They are high elves in their 400th century. Lord Diedrich Louis Veniper and Lady Gianna Franessa Lee Veniper. They have 6 children and 14 grandchildren already, and this is their 2nd century running the city. So that's a thing that's kind of a fun history bit. I included that specifically because one of the cons of being a Lord of Zycia or Lady of Zycia is that if you have power, if you are a leader in some capacity, someone wants what you have. It's like, it's not uncommon for the news of the day to be Lord and Lady so-and-so slain in the night. New ownership or new leadership is such and such, with whatever new demands these new people wanted. Some of them took over and lowered the taxes, and some of them took over and raised the taxes, winning favor or choosing tyranny, stuff like that. So having been in leadership for 2 centuries is a big deal in this continent. They must be doing something right. The next set of cities that I have to sort of choose where to put on my map is the minor cities. These are cities with less than 20,000 inhabitants, and then there are the little towns, which are less than 2,000. Yes. The next set of towns will be less than 2,000. So these are cities still because they're large enough. So there's some fun ones. I've got Plight's Crest, Raven's Reach, Draminium, Wellow's Wastes, Dite, Karinas Creek, Amipotep. I know it sounds Egyptian. That's kind of intentional. I saw it and was like, that's a cool word. All of these are adapted from things that I found on fantasy name generators. And the last one is Grik. Plight's Crest. Let's put that next to Newstrom. Plight's Crest is recently under new management, run by the Nizeni family. The previous rulers were the Bargranau family. They were barbaric and cruel, so the people of Plight's Crest are relieved to be living under the Nizeni family, but only because it's by such high contrast. The Nizenis are still not great people. Though it is my firm belief that most of the people in Zycia are not great people. And it's my world, so I can say that. Raven's Reach. This is a city run by the Cardew family, in partnership by marriage with the Pomeroy family. Next up is Draminium. Should have put it next to Zyrinium. I like the Iniums, apparently. The city of Draminium is run by the Zingranish family. They lead a monastic tradition. This is what I was thinking of. And their family has led the city for the last 600 years, which is the longest running in most of the continent, because they teach balance as well as defense to the people. Interesting. I'm not going to put it next to Zerinium. Let's put it over here. Ooh, Willow's Wastes. Run by the Tolathane family. Rogul and Mershinda Tolathane. Willow's Wastes. Sounds like somewhere that would be in a wasteland, but based on my description of the family, it should probably be close to water. Next up is Dite. Currently run by the Corvington family. Lysandra and Kalyana Corvington. They are gaudy and demanding women who led the massacre of the previous family, the Uglo family. And they have an older brother. Oh, they're sisters, apparently. And they have an older brother who is the strategist named Cathane. Nope, Cathane. People in this town hate them. What a weird city. Okay. Okay, next up is Karinas Creek, run by Tamsin Travas, the last living member of the Travas family. When I wrote the name Tamsin, I definitely thought that I had copied the son of Aang in Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's Tenzin. Real similar. I was probably inspired by that, especially with it being the last living member of the Travas family, and he was like son of the last Airbender. Anyway, Tamsin Travas, not Tenzin, is going to be the leader of Karinas Creek. Where should Karinas Creek? Probably along a creek, huh? That's like a whole ass river. Let's do a smaller spot. Who was Karina, you ask? That's a great question. Alright, Amipotep. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think I might be right. Amipotep. Nope. It's gonna go over here. Okay, and I put the city of Grik right over by Newstrom because I needed another major city over here. Well, no, I don't really want all the major cities to be in one area. Okay, sorry, Grik. Where else do I not have anything? Amipotep is run by the Valwindris family. Clan. Yes, let's try that again. Amipotep is run by the Valwindris clan. Valwindris. There's a hyphen there. And Grik is run by the Hendra family. Oh, it's in a jungle. That's good to know. This is what I wrote about Grik. Run by the Hendra family. It's in a jungle where lots of creatures are hunted for sport. That's not uncommon in Zycia. There are many larger families in the area, and they're all sort of friends, but the Hendra family has taken the leading position of power all this time. All this time? How long is all this time? Past Olivia, give me the deets. Alright, now we get into the minor towns. These are places where there are less than 2,000 inhabitants. They're largely neglected by the rest of the continent, and they don't really have a family leader because they're too small for the major cities to care about them. So they have not sent royals out to conquer them or anything. The first one is Snellgard. Ooh. Snellgard. Built in and around an old outpost, this city spans across a steep valley with a bridge across it. There are homes and shops and fortified structures, but it's all in a small, relatively small town. The bridge crosses a major river that is otherwise difficult to cross. Interesting. She who controls the bridge controls the world. It's gotta be kind of a central location, you know? Like, a bridge that's otherwise difficult to cross that's in an important position is not typically on the side somewhere, you know? There's a huge river, like, right in the middle. Cool. Barahold, a small town built into the face of an old mineral mine mountain. The mine's dried up, but the city is along a major road, so it still entertains visitors. There's an old wicked mage that lives here that financially controls the people. And many people who are born and raised here never leave. It's near a spring of water that feeds the crops that grow there fairly well. And a lot of the people keep some semblance of crop or garden on shelves of the mountain. Oh, that's cool. Though lots of things struggle to grow around the rock. Okay, where's a dope mine? I've got a mountain labeled Abandoned City inside, but it's right next to the capital, and I don't think they'd let an old mage control the city right next to the capital. I've got a little mountain across the river just named Mines. Could be a good spot. Yeah, let's put it there. Done. Kitheny Crest. There's definitely construction going on outside. A town nestled into the one place things will grow among a broken and rocky landscape. Ooh! A broken and rocky landscape. I am digging that. Okay. You know what? You know, it might be fun. If no one knows where the actual, like, holy site for the Crucible of Creation was. I think I wrote that there's, like, a site, and it's largely like a big, rich cathedral has been built over it, basically. But I don't know if I like that. It really fits the place. There might be a place where someone has built a temple and said, oh yes, this is indeed where the Crucible of Creation is. This is where the creation began of all human beings, of all people groups. But it's a farce. The actual one's somewhere else. I like that plot better. Cool. Okay, broken landscape. Probably away from the water a little bit. There's a lot of water here. Ooh, there's a crevasse next to the ocean. I think it's gonna go right next to the crevasse. Broken landscape. Cool. Next one is Garens. Oh gosh, my own cities and I can't pronounce them. Garens Hollow. A town on a moor where there are legends of werewolves and other lycanthropic races. The surrounding terrain contains hills and valleys, and patches of it are covered in those spindly little birch trees where owls and hawks like to hunt. Cool, where's a good place for a moor? You know, Nettingsvale as a city name kind of sounds like it would be on the edge of a moor, so I'm gonna put it over here. Is that how you spell moor? Sounds like I'm saying moor. Like a cow is a moor. Garens Hollow. Garens Hollow? Ooh, that's a cool city name. The next one is called Dusk Point. A village further north on the continent where it's dark more often and frigidly cold. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I don't think that actually makes sense. No, frigidly cold. Ooh, or maybe magically frigidly cold? Ooh, okay, I can keep it. Because the jungle's also the further north, where Grik is. And the cursed forest is pretty north. The people are excellent hunters and trappers and are wary of those that come through. Okay, so maybe there's just a high point. You know, maybe it's like the northeast corner, because Zyrinium is over there, and so maybe it's just kind of above Zyrinium on the coast, and there's just a mountain, like, yeah. Okay. Capervale. A village on a mountain, mostly nestled within the top mile. Yeah, that makes sense for the name, Capervale. Sure. Leardenholm. A town in the forest bordering a rift to the Feywild. Oh, I like that. For those of you who are not D&D experts, the Feywild is another plane of existence that is where Fey creatures come from. So your fairies, satyrs, which are the like creatures that walk on two legs but have like hooves, hooved feet. Sometimes they are depicted with horns and like goat hair. Dryads, creatures that like are kind of like mermaids. I guess your mermaids could live there too. It's like a woodland creatures come from, like woodland creatures that are magical. I'm doing a terrible job of describing this. It's another plane where magic happens. Anywhere. Leardenholm. In a forest. Well, there's an unlucky forest with a good witch. There's a cursed forest way the heck up there. Where's another good place for a forest? There's a jungle. There's a normal forest. Maybe it's... Normal depicts that there's not something strange about it, though. Ooh, over next to Barrahold, there's a spot marked questable, medium difficulty. Roll a d20 to find out what kind of encounter is going to happen there. I think I'm going to erase that and put it there. Trees! And also just like villages in the forest. Next one is called Volistrom. All I wrote was, oh, a town near the base of a volcano. They both start with VOL. So that makes sense. That was probably why I thought that. I don't think I made any volcanoes. Okay, well, let's make a volcano. It's a good spot for a volcano. Ooh, maybe on the edge of one of the crevasses? There's a major crevasse next to Arkemire. Done. Maybe it used to just be a pretty mountain and they didn't know it was dormant. Dryton. Next one. A tiny town a few miles from a 1,000-foot cliff face into the ocean. Oh. Well, that's oddly specific. It's a good place for a cliff face, sure. Next one is Velo Falls, a hidden village near a waterfall in a forest. The surrounding lands and beasts are deadly, and it's very unsafe to stay there long. Who built a village where it's... Okay, I see you. That's dangerous. Who are these people? There's 200 people that live here. Who are these people? Whew, okay. Near a waterfall. In a forest. Well, there's some water. There's water all the way across the continent. Where's a good spot for a waterfall? Honestly, anywhere right in here would be a good spot for a waterfall. Rapids. Rapids along this river. Okay, well, guess this is all gonna be forest. And my last one, Gizmenstrud. An old dwarven mining system turned into a town inside the mountain. Perfect. There's already a mountain marked abandoned city inside. So I guess it just won't be abandoned. It'll just abandoned. Yes. Gizmenstrud. Cool. Holy cow. This is looking a lot better. I still feel like it's missing some things. But now I'll have a better idea of what I'm missing. So, thank you all for coming along on this Get Ready With Me, where I name stuff, get excited about cities, and plot them on a map. I'm not going to show you the end result quite yet, because it's really messy. But I'm going to hop off and work on this some more, and this is probably draft 1, and I will have to draw a more beautiful version of Le Mountain at another time. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for being here. I hope this was entertaining, at least. And if not that, you got an unasked for history lesson on one of the continents of my world. You're welcome. I hope your day is inspired, and I'll see you next week. I minimized the screen and it stopped recording. This is take 2. Not take 2, part 2. Sometimes you just gotta lay on the floor and stretch out for a minute. Do, 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 do. This thing either. The only problem is I'm not supposed to lay on my back. I'm glad you're here, and I'll see you next time. That's a weird exit. Stomach, calm down. Oh, interesting.